Hello viewers, this is Paladin of Odin, and this is some more Magic the Gathering Online. This is another episode of the Standard Commentary Series. And it looks like we've got red deck wins versus maybe blue-black control. That was a 4-2 Dragon Whisperer and just got Grasp of Darkness and killed. Dragon Whisperer is not a card that you saw very often when it was new, and now you see it even less. It's not a bad card. Not in any way. It's a 2-2 for 2 that, 1 mana gives it flying, and then it has the option of 2 more mana gives it, a fire-breathing effect. So, provided you have open mana, it can be quite powerful. The problem is really that it requires mana. Okay, Ob Nixilis from blue-black. He draws his card and loses his life. He's down to 13. Red is basically top decking, and he just played a land, which really sucks for him. He's at 6 land. He does not need 6 land. And Ob gives him another card. Gives a Koilos. Maybe he's actually playing Esper control. He has to be. Dragon Lord Ojutai, yeah, he's playing Esper control. And red is pretty much screwed here. I hate to say it this early, but with so few cards and a live Ob Nixilis with the ability to kill off whatever you play, and then, Dragon Lord Ojutai is kind of a pain in the ass to kill with 4 toughness and hexproof until it attacks. So he concedes. I don't blame him. That was a really bad spot that he got into. 6 land and only 3 cards. And I don't know for sure, but he might have used the Neonate's ability and discarded Fiery Temper so that he could play it for 1, which would have drawn him an additional card. So he, a little bit deeper than he normally would, and still couldn't find what he needed. So, let's go to game 2. Red deck wins is still on the top 8 boards with 1% of the field playing red deck wins, but the numbers are still falling, and they've been falling ever since SOI came out. Red deck wins was pretty much one of the top 4 decks that you would run into in standard pre-SOI, and now it's just taken a nosedive. I don't know that it will survive on the boards for very much longer. It's just losing so much popularity. And mainly that's because Red really didn't get all that much from SOI. I mean, there are a few cards. Insolent Neonate's 1. It's not a great card, but it's not bad. Oh, plays it, uses its ability to discard Fiery Temper so that he can kill off Jace before it gets going at all. So, that's not actually that bad of a combo. It's 2 red mana, which lets you Lightning Bolt your choice of targets, and then on top of that, it gives you a card to replace one of the 2 that you had to use. So it's almost a 1-for-1 2 mana Lightning Bolt. Dragon Whisperer. Esper throws down Jace again. And that's the thing. Right now is the times that Red really needs to be punching through for damage. When his opponent is almost completely tapped out so that he can't respond to anything, no blockers. And these are the turns when he really needs to be punching face, and he has to deal with Jace. You can't really let him get away with Jace. So he had to throw a 4 damage spell to kill it. Alright, there we go. I was going to say, not going to buff it at all, but he had a better card in hand, Sin Prodder. So provided Sin Prodder lives to next turn, Esper isn't really looking too good right now. That would be a minimum of 5 damage swing. On top of that, Sin Prodder's ability would most likely do some damage, unless he hits a land. And if he hits a land, that's really bad because he'd just let him have it, I think. Ooh, Silumgar's Command. That was perfect timing for that. -3/-3 on the Sin Prodder and bouncing the Dragon Whisperer. Silumgar's Command is actually not a bad spell. It isn't very popular, mainly because, 5 mana and, its abilities are pretty situational. Not everybody runs Planeswalkers. 5 mana to counter a non-creature spell and then get one other ability usually isn't that great. But in that particular situation, it wiped the board. And that's all he needed. He needed another turn where Red had to rebuild so that he can go and do what he wants. All Red could do was play a Dragon Whisperer and a Lightning Berserker, and the problem with these two cards is that they're competing for the mana that he has available. Esper threw down Dragonlord Ojutai, which is, like I said last game, is really bad news for Red. 4 toughness isn't easy to kill, and then on top of that, it has hexproof until he attacks with it. So he's throwing the Lightning Berserker in here. He's actually hoping that he'll block, but, Esper is too smart for that. He'd be walking into that fire-breathing trap and getting Dragonlord Ojidai killed just to get rid of a Lightning Berserker. So he takes the 4 damage, no problem. And attacks in with Ojutai. There's 5 damage, Red is down to 15. Esper's currently at 10. Not the best of positions, especially since Red still has 5 cards in his hand. That is a lot of mana. Dragonlord Silumgar. And he's taking the Dragon Whisperer. Really, there's no better choice than the Whisperer. I mean, he's a 2/2 versus a 1/1. He doesn't have red mana, so the abilities don't matter at all. And now he has a free blocker to block the Lightning Berserker if it attacks again. He can just throw the Dragon Whisperer in front of it and not care. And unfortunately, it looks like Red is done again. Okay, Exquisite Firecraft. Can't be countered. He had Spell Mastery, so goodbye Dragonlord Ojutai. But that really doesn't save him, considering he's still got a 3/5 flyer, and 5 toughness is even harder to deal with than 4, especially when it's flying. Roast would be perfect for that if it could hit a flyer. And a second Dragonlord Ojutai. I don't want to call game here already, but I'm pretty sure that this game is over. I am actually quite surprised at how badly this red deck ran for him. Not nearly as aggressive as I remember it pre-SOI. And like I said, they didn't get a whole lot of good cards out of SOI for red, but there were some. Sin Prodder is really good, provided it lives, which, probably won't for very long. 2 toughness isn't hard to get rid of, and he has, no evasion against anything targeting him. Black, blue, and white have pretty much all the tools possible to get rid of a creature like that. direct kill like ultimate price, bouncing in blue, removing with white. Against a deck like that, Sin Prodder is most likely going to die before you even get a chance to use him. But if he sticks, he's a good card. So the Dragon Lords come in over the top for 8 damage. Red is down to 4. And unfortunately, unless he can kill, it's like, even if he kills Ojutai. Oh, Goblin Dark Dwellers, that can bring back Exquisite Firecraft, which can kill off the Dragon Lord Ojutai. And he'll have the blockers against the ground in case Esper were to kill, if Lightning Berserker were the only blocker and he killed him off, it would have been lethal thanks to Dragon Whisperer and Dragon Lord Silmagar. But he might live through this if Esper doesn't have an answer for the 2 creatures on the ground. But then again, it's just one more turn against, guaranteed lethal, unless you can kill off Dragon Lord Silumgar. Though one more turn is pretty dangerous. He is down to 7. So let's see what Esper's playing. Ruinous Path with Awaken, killing off the Goblin Dark Dwellers, getting himself a 4/4, and making this turn lethal. So, unfortunately for Red, Esper just stomped the crap out of him. And I don't know if that's indicative of every Red Deck Wins game now, as to why its popularity is in the tank. If it is, I completely understand. That was just brutal. That Esper deck smacked him around. But, Red Deck Wins. Sort of at the height of power before SOI, and then one set comes out, and all of a sudden, he's in the gutter. But I'll end the video there. That was Esper Control versus Red Deck Wins, and if you liked what you saw, hit that like and subscribe button for me, and I'll see you in the next video.